Hello and welcome to Sociology 200 for the March 2020 mod. My name is Brian Mitchell. I'll be your instructor for the next 10 weeks for this course. And that's kind of one of the first things I want to discuss in this introduction, which is that this is the first mod that this course will be taught over 10 weeks instead of 5 weeks. So this is going to be a new experience for me as well as for you. I'm going to take a moment just to kind of set things up for week one and kind of point to kind of some of the key things that we need to kind of get established with as we move into this mod. And so the first thing is the day one check-in. So as the name implies, it's due at the end of day one, which is Monday. So generally speaking, that's not a problem. Every so often, students have issues getting into the course and things may happen, but for the most part, most students are able to complete that on day one, in part because it's a very simple assignment. It's essentially an introduction where you're kind of introducing yourselves to me and to the fellow students in the course. However, I want to point to two important aspects of the day one check-in. Three important aspects. Aspect one is to please, if you aren't having any technical problems, please make sure to complete this on time before the end of the first day. And the reason for that is this second aspect, which is one of the questions you're going to be asked is what is your availability for our weekly live classroom sessions? And these are going to be sessions where we meet in real time, review topics from the course, also gives us a chance to review the work that's required, answer questions, depending on how willing the students in the course are, even to have debates and discussions and so forth. Kind of the traditional idea of a classroom, however, online. So we have a lot of students in this class. Something on the order of 25 students, I believe, at least, are going to start off on our roster. And as you can probably imagine, trying to find one time for all or as many of those people to meet as possible is not always easy. So, what I want you to do, at least to get us rolling here in terms of finding that time and finding that day, is as a part of the day one check in to please provide a window essentially, or the availability where your availability over the course of a given week. So that might be something on the order of I'm available Monday and Wednesday afternoons from 1 to 5. Okay, maybe it's a tighter window. Maybe it's I'm available Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 5. But give me something like that with at least a 2-hour window. Try to make it at least a 2-hour window. I can't promise that we'll make everybody happy, and I can't promise that we'll find something that will work for everybody. But I will, and we'll talk about this throughout the first week. I will make myself available at other times throughout the weeks, each week, to meet with students who maybe can't attend the actual live class session. So make sure you remember to do that. And the third aspect of the day one check-in I want you to remember is to make sure you check to see if you have access to your textbook, and that's fairly easy. And the textbooks essentially are embedded in the course. But for whatever reason, you may have an issue, and hopefully you don't. We want to make clear from day one who has access to that and who doesn't. So please make sure you check the textbook, and if you have access to that, simply say yes to that question in the day one check-in. So the other thing I want to, or one of the other things I want to mention here on this week one introduction, is the way this course is now structured, moving from a 5-week course to a 10-week course. Among the things that have changed is the main thing is that there are more assignments. So each week has an assignment. So the course has gone from 5 assignments to 10 assignments. The same for discussions. The course has gone from 5 discussions, 1 per week, to 10 discussions. So we now have 10 discussions, 10 assignments, and those are obviously very important. We had 5 quizzes in the past. We're keeping 5 quizzes, so you won't have a quiz every week. So one of the things that does is it makes the assignments and the discussions that much more important to your overall grade. So I want to reiterate this because oftentimes I'll have students who they'll submit their quiz at the end of the week, and that's a fairly quick and easy thing for people to do if they're pressed for time. Maybe they'll post to the discussion forum. Maybe not. But when students don't submit assignments, there's almost no way to pass this course. So I want to really make sure that's clear. Each assignment, or I'm sorry, each week has an assignment, and the assignments are and assignments, and I should mention discussions as well. But assignments and discussions, very important. So you're going to really need to stay on top of that and to make sure you're completing those each week, and not fall behind, because it'll catch up to you quickly, and it's hard to catch up uh, and get back to a good standing in the course. So, and then finally, let's talk about what some of the assignments and deliverables are for week one. So the first discussion, it's really a very controversial first discussion because it's going to get into the concept of and the topic of sociology as a science and as a vehicle for conducting research and scientific research, and that's something that we'll discuss in week one, but specifically into ethical research because sociologists are dealing with the study of people. We're not studying rocks, we're not studying planets, we're not studying gravity and what have you. We're studying people, and so that raises all kinds of unique ethical considerations. And so the the first discussion does address a couple ethical dilemmas that were faced in maybe the kind of the early stages of sociology, and they may actually make some of you uncomfortable. They're about controversial issues, and certainly one does oftentimes make students uncomfortable. But it will give you an idea of the types of things that are least discussed and looked at in sociology, and some of the ways in which research is constructed to find data on those topics. And that's the key. Sociologists have to do research. There's lots of different ways to do that research, but they have to do research, scientific research, follow the scientific method to get where they want to be. Also gets into the discussion of subcultures, and it's going to ask you to kind of look at yourself and what subcultures you might belong to. So you'll read about subcultures, and we'll discuss it again in week one when we meet in the live classroom. And then finally, different aspects of culture and different dimensions to culture. So you'll be learning about culture and then ideal and real and various other elements of culture. So that'll be discussion one, week one. And remember, with discussions, you're going to make an initial post that should be done fairly early in the week. Earlier the better. I mean, you have until Thursday, generally speaking, to get your first post in, but the earlier the better, because if no one's posting, then no one can respond, which is the other aspect to discussions. You do need to have a couple responses to other students. Those don't have to be lengthy. They don't have to be pages in length, but they need to be more than just I agree or I disagree or that makes sense. Something a little more than that. So I'm looking just for participation. I'm looking for people who are engaged with the material and participating with their fellow students. And when you're in there participating, make sure you guys follow the etiquette that you should. And I've never had a problem with students following that in the past. Assignment one is going to involve the topic of sociology in general, and so you'll be asked to really comment and write about some of the major ideas and concepts in sociology that provide the foundation for it. So, what is the sociological imagination, and how does that inform sociological research and theory and so forth? And you'll also be writing about theory, and which is In sociology, you have theory and you have science and you have the methodology to conduct scientific research. So those two things are very important. So you'll be looking at some of those early theories and theorists, and some other aspects of basic fundamental sociology just to get us going. So those are kind of the topics. We're going to talk about this more, again, I want to welcome you all to the class. I am easy to reach. So my contact info is in the course, and you can also just easily reach me by messaging me through the message feature in the course, and I guarantee I'll get back to you almost instantly. Not quite all the time, but just about in real time, I'll get back to you. I'm online most of the day, but certainly within a day or two at the max, and it generally doesn't go past a day, I'll get back to you. So reach out to me if you have any issues. Make sure you do your day one check-in, and once again, welcome to SOC200.